Dragons of the Autumn Twilight, Dragonlance, chapters 7 through 9. 7 starts off with our companions on a slow trek through the thick woods of Solace Vale, where the massive Valenwood trees' roots are the least of the problem. This green would challenge that of the Green Mountains of Vermont with its thistlebrush and green wall, yet it's the tangle-shoot vines that require the most caution, because they live to tangle up victims until one of the many predators come along and finish the job off, giving the tanglewood exactly what it needs to live: blood. They finally reach Haven Road, scratched up and tired to realize all sound has left the area. After some pissing and moaning, they send Tasslehoff off to scout ahead, because Kinder are known for their wanderlust and no one will suspect one by itself. He sings a dirty limerick as he heads off, where we learn dwarves love mining for gold and centaurs love cheap wine. Tanis was worried that Tasslehoff is easily distracted and taken off course. We also learn, as we waited for Tass to get back, that Magi need to constantly rememorize their spells, which is a nice connection to the tabletop game, and the fact that wizards have to memorize their spells every night from their spellbook. We also get a better understanding of how the words of magic leave their mind as a spell is cast, along with their physical and mental energy, forcing them to rest before they can cast them again. We also get a little more of the story of why Flint hates boats, with a comment to Caramon about him trying to catch fish from the boat with his bare hands. This soon follows the history of how Riverwind got the staff. Now, like John Wick, Riverwind was given an impossible task because, like me, he was attempting to marry above his station. When Riverwind finally returned to the tribe, he was with fever and nearly dead. Goldmoon's father had sent him to find anything that proved the gods were real. When Riverwind came to his senses and he said it was given to him by a god, but he couldn't remember her name, which I can relate, sometimes I forget what I had for breakfast. When the chief tried to command the staff to do something and nothing happened, he ordered the people to get Riverwind stoned. Nice. Oh, I mean to stone Riverwind. That's a bit different. When the people tried to stone him, Goldwind went to his side. There was a flash from the blue staff, and they were suddenly in Solace near the inn. And this all happened 2 days ago, so now we know the staff can also teleport. Tanis asked Riverwind where he got the staff after some back and forth where Riverwind asked Tanis why he is called half-elf instead of half-man. Tanis carefully answers that half-elf means half-being, and half-man means a cripple. Riverwind remembers a city of white buildings with marble columns, and he said it was beautiful. It was once beautiful, but now it looks like some great hand just picked it up and cast it down a mountain. He also says that it's now very old and evil, and some large dark wings raised up, and all the creatures there worshipped it. Tass comes running back, waving his arms 3 times, signaling they should hide. Sturm, being the stubborn pain in the ass he is, would not take cover, saying he is not hiding in a ditch. Tass says it's 8 clerics coming. He said they are dressed like Tika said the strange men in Solace were. He also said they give him an eerie feeling, which is saying a lot because in all the time that he has been with Tanis, Tass has never said anything like that. The 8 clerics were dragging a cart. Sturm stays on the road as the rest hide. Raistlin senses something's not right with these clerics. Raistlin also does the math of the fact that these strange clerics and the staff both showed up in Solace at the same time. Now, to add to their problems, it begins a nice, steady, cold rain. The clerics were strange, 6 feet tall, all covered from head to toe in cloak and hoods and wrappings on their hands and feet. No one recognized the language that the clerics used to speak to one another, yet they spoke in common to Sturm. They tell Sturm they seek a staff, obviously Goldmoon's staff. Sturm asks why they seek the staff. They say it's a sacred staff of healing, and it was theirs, and their friend needs it. Goldmoon breaks cover, followed by Riverwind and Caramon. And this is where we pick up in Chapter 8 with Goldmoon offering help to the clerics. We learn that she led her people for 10 years. She declares that she has the staff they seek, and would heal their brother, but not to relinquish the staff until she is sure of who it belongs to. The lead cleric leads her to the back of the covered cart and opens the curtain. Goldmoon screams, there's a blue flash again of the staff, and the lead cleric blows a horn, and his trap is sprung. Tanis goes to shoot his bow, which he was preparing to shoot, and he's ambushed. As the battle begins, they slowly realize these are not men. They have leathery wings, and these things are horrific. something they've never seen before. The staff glows blue as Gold Moon starts braining anyone nearer. Riverwind finally snaps out of his initial horror, only to snap back into it when he looks into the back of the cart. And Sturm jumps up and plunges his sword into the back of the thing in the cart before it can take out Riverwind. As the creature died, it turned to stone, and now Sturm's sword is stuck. He gets blindsided by one of the other creatures. Caramon goes to help Sturm, and one of the things clamps down his jaw on him, and he realizes they are reptiles. Now Raistlin comes to Caramon's aid and tells him, don't stab them. Raistlin tries a sleep spell, it doesn't quite take. Then he tries for another spell, and the creature in front of him goes up in flames. As this is going on, Tanis saves Sturm as he was about to get blasted again by another creature. Tanis decides they gotta get out of there. And Raistlin's spell sets the cart on fire, as well as more of these creatures as they approach from down the road. Now Flint and Tass try to protect Sturm as Tass goes to get Sturm's sword. And after some comedy of Flint getting knocked on his ass by Tass, Tanis goes over and helps Gold Moon and Riverwind, and notices further up the road that there's more dark figures and possibly a few dark figures flying in. Tass comes back dragging Sturm's sword as smoke in the burning cart just fills the area. So Tanis tries to get everyone together to get them the heck out of there. He suggests they head into Darkened Woods. Flint bitches and moans again because Dark Woods has a history of no one ever coming out of it. So now Chapter 9 has them on the run through the woods. About an hour in, they discuss why they aren't being chased, and they rightfully conclude that it's because the only way for them to go out is either through Dark Woods. Those creatures are pretty sure no one will go into because no one's have known to come out of Dark Woods, or they'll have to go right into where these creatures are. At this point, Raistlin happens to mention that Dark Woods is where the dead are, as he collapses, and Sturm is also getting delirious. At this point, they all examine Sturm's wounds that Gold Moon's staff couldn't even fix. Riverwind says he saw these things in the Broken City and was happy he wasn't crazy because up until then, he thought he had imagined them. Gold Moon asks Sturm what did those things mean that they went to our tribe, and Riverwind assures her that the warriors there can handle themselves and they'll be fine. Riverwind remembers more about the Broken City, and we get a much better understanding of Sturm's backstory. His father and his father's father were Knights of Solamnia, and his father had sent him and his mother away to Solace to hide from those seeking to destroy what was left of the Knights. He becomes good friends with Caramon at this time, as they're both teenagers, and when his mother dies from fever, Tanis and Flint basically adopt him and Caramon and Raistlin and teach them all how to fight. Along with Tasslehoff, they basically raise the three of these men into, seasoned warriors, with the occasional help of the twins' beautiful older sister. Sturm, still delirious from his wound, and swears that he sees a white stag up ahead. Now, Sturm was raised on stories of Yuma, the knight of renown following a great white stag. They all get on board with the idea that some sort of divine intervention is happening with Sturm, and they follow, even though it's initially not the direction they intended. They follow the stag and climb up the Prayer's Eye Peak, which is a mountain that looks like two praying hands from afar. It is also rumored that Paladine guided human Dragonlance in the form of a white stag right to that very same spot. A lush green valley lies below them, and it leads to an aspen forest. It was a clear day at this point. Flint once again is pissing and moaning. Caramon suggests throwing Flint down the mountain and remarks that we are probably the first living being to set eyes on this area, and Raistlin says, living beings indeed, for you look upon Darkened Wood. Dun 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 dun. There's a bit of heated discussion about going in, as Sturm says the stag has gone down to the meadow and into the woods. Sturm says Raistlin is batshit crazy and says he will follow the stag like Yuma did. Raistlin reminds Tanis that no one has ever walked out of that forest. Tanis basically says, fair enough, but I'm going with Sturm, and whoever doesn't want to go, that'll be fine too. Eventually, even Raistlin goes, and when Tanis asks him why, he says, because you will need me. Then explaining in a uniquely Raistlin way that Tanis let all the shit go too far, and then presented the group with this choice like there was one. So now they all make their way down to the wood to catch up to Sturm, who waits there and points to where he says the stag went in. Tanis sees no tracks, yet they all go in. Caramon, who mostly thinks with his stomach first, mentions that on the bright side there may be some game in here, and Raistlin cryptically says, kill nothing, touch nothing, drink nothing in Darkenwood, and then tells Tanis there is a great and powerful magic laid upon this wood. And Tanis asks, evil? Only those that bring evil in with them, is what Raistlin says. And then Sturm says only Raistlin should worry then. At which point Caramon takes offense, and Tanis and Raistlin calm them both down as they both get ready to go at it. And Raistlin says, we shall see. This chapter finishes off as Tanis and Flint talk about Tanis telling Flint that he needs him, and that the rest are so young that he needs Flint's perspective and his solidness. And that's how we wrap up chapter 9, with them heading into the mysterious and deadly Darkened Woods. If you stuck around this long through our quick summary, I want to thank you. Hit that like and subscribe if you can. And we'll be back real soon with some more monstery goodness. Until then, stay frosty and aware, my beautiful people. And thank you. Thank you very much.